Hello all, welcome to my YouTube channel Lenin 8. In this video we are going to discuss about a Java program to determine whether the number is Armstrong number or not. Means if the input is 370, the output is yes, it's an Armstrong number. And if the input is 100, then the output is no, it's not a Armstrong number. So what is the meaning of this Armstrong number? Now let us discuss. So for this, I'm taking an example of these two sample inputs and to get the corresponding output, but our logic is going to be generic. So first, what is this Armstrong number? So if it is a 3-digit number, if the input is a 3-digit number, example 370. So what we have to do is, we have to get each digit, that is 0 and 7 and 3. So once we get this each digit, then we have to find the cube of each digits because of 3-digit number. I mean, that is 3 cube is nothing but 3 into 3 into 3 plus 7 cube is 7 into 7 into 7 plus 0 cube is nothing but, so we are aware of 0. So if we find the sum of all these 3 digits cube, then if the result is same as the original number, then we can say the input number is Armstrong number. So in this example, what is 3 into 3 into 3? I mean 3 cube is 27 plus 7 cube is 343 plus 0 doesn't make any difference. So 27 plus 343 is 370, which is same as our input number. Therefore, we can say 370 is an Armstrong number. This is for 3-digit. For example, if it is a 4-digit number, and I'm taking a sample of say 1234 or 1234. So since it's a 4-digit number, so for each digit, what we have to find? It's a power 4. That is 1 has to be multiplied by 4 times. We know that the result is 1. And then to this result, we have to add the product of 2 by 4 times. Then to the same result, we have to add the product of 3 by 4 times. And then we have to add the product of even 4 by 4 times as well. So if the entire result is same as our input number, that is 1234, then we can also say that even this 1234 is also Armstrong number. If it is not same, then 1234 is not a Armstrong number. If it is equal to, if this result is equal to 1234, then we can say yes. If it is not equal to, then it's a not Armstrong number. So this is the constraint. What is the constraint is, I am taking example of this program as a 3-digit number. I hope it's clear. Then the next concept is, how do we get this each digit from the given number? So we know that in Java, there are 2 types of divisions. So since we want the digits which is presented the ones place, or I mean this ones place here, then the same digit we can get it by using an operation called as division operator. Correct? I mean to say, if it is a 370, so if we divide 370 with 10, then the nearest smallest product is 37 times. Therefore, it becomes 370. Then the remainder is 0. Correct? Then if we make the number as 37, again if we divide with 10, then the nearest multiple is 3, then 37 is the next remainder. Similarly, if we make number as 3, then if we divide with 10, then the nearest product is 0, then the remainder is going to be 3. So it means with the remainder, we can get 0, with as a remainder, we can get 7, as a remainder, we can get 3. So once we get these reminders, we have to find these products and we have to add to the some common variable. That's the concept behind this one. Yeah. So now let us understand how do you write the Java logic for this. Hope the concept is clear. So to write this program, first I am taking one number. So int some n or number, any variable of programmer choice, a 3-digit number. I'm not taking the input because again I keep repeatedly saying that logic will never depends on the value. Logic will depends on the variable names. Then followed by, to find this sum and add the result to one common variable. So I am taking another variable, say int sum, and this initialization is 0. So 0 because we are adding. So we are adding here, that's why 0. Okay. Then followed by, when till when we have to continue, until unless this number 370 from the number, it's becoming 37. From 37, it's becoming 3. From 3, it's becoming 0. So it means as long as our number is 0 as a quotient part, okay, then we have to keep on continuing. So that's why, so here I'm using a condition called as while condition, while n is greater than 0. We have to continue this loop. So I left some space for one more variable which is required. I'll discuss it in appropriate time. Then inside this, what we have to do? First, we have to get a digit as a reminder in each and every step. So how do we get a reminder? So I'm using the same n variable in which the value is there. Then the same thing, if you are using a modular division by 10, so that gives a result as a reminder. So I'm using r is my variable, but which is of integer type. So int r for reminder. Then the next step, what we have to do? So once we get this first reminder, so we have to multiply it thrice or 3 times, right? Then the same thing I'm writing in the next step as the right hand side part. That is the remainder multiplied by remainder, again multiplied by remainder. This is what because of a 3-digit number input I said as a constraint. Then the same thing we have to add to our variable called sum and store the result back to some variable only because each time the same step is going to repeat. Correct? Then from 317 the number has to become 37. From 370 the number has to become 3. From 3 the number has to become 0. So therefore, I am writing n by 10. To get the quotient, we have to perform a quotient division operator. That result has to be stored back to a variable n itself. So this is the purpose of while loop logic. Then followed by what we have to do at the last, we have to check the result is same as the input number or not. Correct? That's why here I'm writing a condition, but with little more observation. So if in which variable the result is there, so in variable sum, correct? If sum to compare double equals is the operator for numbers, and then here should I use n or we have to use some other variable? Because in this step, if you observe, n is becoming from 370 to 37, from 37 to 3, from 3 to 0. It means is n is varying or not? Yes, n is varying in every iteration. That's why we should not compare with n to check with it. So for the same reason, I am using one more variable called int temp. And before we perform any operations on this n variable, I am storing that n value back to a variable called as temp. Now, should we compare with n or temp? It's supposed to be compared with temp. So if here, if sum double equals to temp, so we can say that system.out.println, that's a Armstrong number. So I'm just printing yes. Then else part, we can simply say that it's no. As else part, so no need of checking any condition. Just we can give a message as no, it's not Armstrong number. So this is the logic of Armstrong. Now we can give any 3-digit number as input and we get the appropriate output accordingly. I hope it is clear. Let us execute the same thing through Eclipse as well. To execute the same program, to determine whether the given number is Armstrong number or not, I have taken a class name as Armstrong number inside this main method, and within this I'm using a scanner class to read the input from the keyboard, the appropriate methods. Then followed by the same logic which we discussed. So first we need a variable, so int some temp, so in which what we have to store the value which we are reading from keyboard stored into a variable called num. So I'm storing this num. Then followed by we need one more variable of int type and whose result is whose value is 0 to be initialized. Then followed by, since we don't know the ending, that means how many digit number, so that's why we are going for a while loop. We know the starting, we don't know the ending. That's where the best place to use a while loop there. So we have to continue as long as this num. So while discussing I used n, but here I'm using num. I hope no confusion. As long as this num is greater than 0, the loop has to be iterated. So what's the first step in the loop? So we have to perform the modulo division operator on this given number as input. Then the same thing has to be stored into a variable called as r for reminder as an integer type of variable. And the second step in this is we have to perform the cube of the number since it's a three-digit number. So odd star or again star or. Then to this entire result, I'm writing in see this parenthesis. The entire result has to be added back to which variable? The variable which we have initialized to 0 to store the result as some variable. Then the total result again has to be assigned back to some variable itself. Then in the last step, so for while loop, incrementation or decrementation is inside the loop itself. So here n equals to n /10. There's a quotient division. So here itself is the decrement of this n value. So it's not n, I'm sorry. So it is a num. So once this loop is done, then outside this loop, we have to check a condition. What is the condition? So if num double equals to sum. So in which the result is there, is it num or temp? I hope you remember correctly. It's not num because num is modified. It's supposed to be temp. You're perfect. Then followed by, since it's a single line of statement, I'm not using any curly braces for if condition. So I'm just printing as per our requirement. Yes, it's Armstrong number. Yes, it's an Armstrong number, or you can just mention that variable name as well for a meaningful output. So else, so I'm just using else to print it's no. Yeah. So let us save this one and let's execute this program and give the input from the keyboard. That is, I'm entering as per our discussion, 370 is a three-digit number. So let us press enter. Then yes is the output. You can cross verify. I re-execute and I'll enter another number called 100. It's not Armstrong number. I'll re-execute. I'll take a 371 and I'll press yes and I'll enter 151, I guess. Yeah, is no. I'll enter 150. It's also no. Okay, somewhere 153 is, I think so. I hope you understood this logic. And for a 4-digit number, 5-digit number, the only difference is like here we have to go for the remainder product for 4-digit 4 times, for 5-digit 5 times, like that. That's the only difference. I hope you understood. For any other questions where you want me to discuss, you can use the comment section to post your questions there. Thank you. See you in the next video.